Lisabi, the untold story of the Yoruba freedom fighter. Before the guns, before the flags, before the Nigeria we know today, there were stories of heroes who rose for their people. Stories written not on paper, but in the blood and sweat of freedom fighters. This is the story of Lisabi, the unsung warrior of the Egba people. A story of betrayal, courage and sacrifice, forgotten by history but alive in the spirit of the Yoruba nation. The oppression before the storm. The 18th century was not an easy time for the Egba people. They lived under the shadow of tyranny, ruled not by their own kings, but crushed under the boots of external oppressors, the cruel Ajeles. The Ajeles were ruthless agents sent from the Oyo Empire. Their job was simple: collect heavy taxes from the Egba towns and crush any resistance. Markets were raided, women were assaulted, children were kidnapped, and elders were humiliated. The Egba people lived in fear. Their farms were taxed, their traders robbed, and their freedom stolen, all in the name of loyalty to an empire that no longer protected them. Their cries echoed through the forest of Yoruba land, but no savior came. Until one man decided enough was enough. The rise of Lisabi. His real name was Lisabi Agbongboakala. Born in Itoku, a section of what is now known as Abeokuta, Lisabi was not born into royalty. He was an ordinary man, a skilled farmer, a loyal Egba son, but in his chest beat the heart of a lion. Lisabi had seen enough. He had watched the Ajeles kill his neighbors. He had seen women wailing over sons taken away in the night. He vowed to end the terror, even if it cost him his life. But Lisabi was smart. He knew that the brute strength alone could not defeat the Ajeles. He needed to be strategic. He needed to unite the Egba people who were too afraid to fight individually. The secret oath, the Farmers' Union. Lisabi began in secret. He formed what Israel would later call the Egba Aro, a secret farmers' society. Outwardly, it looked innocent, just farmers coming together to help each other with farm work, but secretly it was a revolutionary army. Every member swore a binding oath, loyalty until death. They trained themselves quietly, how to use farm tools as a weapon, how to move unseen in the forest, how to fight as one. Lisabi's plan was not to attack immediately. He would wait. They would bide their time until the perfect moment to strike. The day the Egba fought back. And that moment came in 1780, after years of terror and humiliation. The Egba led by Lisabi finally rose. The attack was swift and brutal. The Ajeles stationed in various Egba towns were hunted down one by one. No mercy was shown, no quarter given. The oppressors were overthrown and the Egba people reclaimed their dignity. The news spread like wildfire across Yoruba land. The Egba had done the unthinkable. They had defied the mighty Oyo Empire. The Oyo Empire strikes back. The Oyo Empire could not sit quietly. To them, Lisabi's rebellion was not just an insult, it was a direct threat to their power. Determined to make an example out of the Egba, they prepared a fearsome army. Thousands of well-trained cavalrymen, heavily armed marched towards Egba land. The Egba people knew they were outnumbered, but they also knew they would rather die free than live as slaves again. Lisabi's last stand. Lisabi gathered his warriors. He told them, "We may not live to see tomorrow, but if we must die, let us die as men who chose freedom." Battle after battle, the Egba resisted fiercely, but the Oyo army was too powerful. Village after village fell, thousands were killed or captured. Lisabi, knowing that capture was inevitable, did the unthinkable. He chose death on his own terms. Rather than fall into enemy hands, he is said to have taken his own life, a warrior's death. The legacy of Lisabi. Lisabi's death was not in vain. His rebellion weakened the Oyo Empire forever. Soon after, internal crisis broke Oyo apart, and its dominance over Yoruba land faded into history. Today, every time you hear the drums of the Egba people, every time you walk through the streets of Abeokuta, remember, you are walking on the dreams of a farmer who dared to stand against an empire. Why Lisabi still matters today. Lisabi's story is more than just history. It is a reminder that the power of the people is greater than the might of empires. It is a call to remember that courage lives not in kings and generals, but in the hearts of ordinary men who say, enough is enough. When next you hear about leaders abusing power, remember Lisabi. When next you see injustice, remember Lisabi. And when next you feel powerless, remember Lisabi. Heroes are not always those who wear crowns. Sometimes they are farmers with fire in their hearts. Lisabi was one. Will you be the next?